Communication is a process that typically involves an interaction between communicating subjects. The response, triggered by communication in the recipient subject, in turn stimulates the sender. Communication can be defined as the mode through which social relationships are established, structured, and developed. Communication is embedded within a reference cultural context, where a sender, transmitting content through shared channels and codes with the recipient, can receive communicative feedback from the recipient. Communications, within subjects, are nothing more than responses to stimuli and fulfill their purpose if the message is interpreted in the same way by both the producer and the recipient of the communication. Therefore, we can represent the communication process as a flow of symbols, information, the message, that travels from a source or sender, E, to a receiver or destination, D, through a channel or medium, after being encoded. It is clear that the transmitter and the receiver must be compatible with each other, that is, the transmission must be possible, using appropriate channels and codes, so that the message arrives. For example, in the case of a radio broadcast, the transmitter is the speaker's voice, the message is the description of the event, the code is the language, or more specifically, the language. The channel consists of radio waves, and the receiver is the listener. In the case of radio broadcasts, in order for the speaker's voice to be transmitted through radio waves, an appropriate equipment, the broadcasting station, consisting of a microphone, amplifier, and antenna, is required that transforms the voice into electromagnetic waves. This operation of transformation is called encoding. Similarly, the receiver will also need another equipment, radio, that converts electromagnetic waves into sound waves. This additional operation is called decoding. We now introduce the concept of noise. We refer to noise or interference as an undesired event that impedes or limits the efficiency of the communication process. In the case of radio transmission, noise may consist of an electrical discharge that causes what is commonly referred to as noise. Thus, any event or situation that hinders the efficiency of the communication process is defined as noise. This straightforward schema can help us better comprehend the characteristics and issues of the communication. In the communication process, the term noise refers to anything that interferes between the sender and the receiver, compromising the effectiveness of communication, essentially involving technical interference. In other areas, linguistics, semiotics, pragmatics, the concept takes on a metaphorical value and refers to all types of disturbance that can interfere in the human communication process, reducing its effectiveness or even compromising the result, in some cases, even due to emotional interference, etc. Communication can be disrupted by noise, that is, any factor, whether physical or psychological, that interrupts or hinders the process. Possible types of noise that may occur are external, factors external to the receiver, such as the noise of a passing train, physiological, biological factors that interfere with accurate reception, such as an illness or temporary hearing loss, psychological, internal forces in the communicator that interfere with the ability to express or receive a message, such as a concern, cultural, when the sender's culture is different from the receiver's, such as a message in Italian sent to an English speaker. To address the problem of noise, there are two possible paths to follow. Redundancy, when the sender makes the message more understandable by repeating it more clearly or accompanying it with gestures and facial expressions. Feedback, when the receiver provides information back to the sender, allowing them to verify it and request clarification. So, communication is the process that allows information to be transmitted. After delving into the communication process, we must now ask ourselves, what makes communication effective? Communicating effectively means being able to express oneself in every situation with any interlocutor, both verbally and non-verbally, facial expressions, voice, and posture, in a clear and coherent manner with one's emotional state. Communicating effectively means ensuring that the message the sender wishes to communicate to the receiver is received in a way that can be understood, remembering that there may be background noise, i.e., there may be external, actual noise, a disturbed phone line, etc., and internal, emotions, thoughts that interfere with either the expression or understanding of the message, interferences. Therefore, it is crucial to take into high consideration the feedback we receive from the other person, i.e., listening to words and observing facial expressions, voice, posture, and words to verify if the message has been received. Indeed, the communication process can be divided into three macro areas: verbal communication, language, words, content that represents only 7% of communication. If we were to communicate using only the verbal level, there is a risk that people will grasp only a minimal percentage of what we have said. Paraverbal communication, which constitutes 38% of communication and specifically concerns the tone of voice, timbre, rhythm, inflection, volume, pauses, and speed. If we want to be understood, it is essential to vary the tone of our voice according to what we are expressing, to avoid flattening the content. Nonverbal communication, which concerns 55% of communication, or body language, and includes body movements, facial expressions, eye movements, attitude, proxemics, appearance, and posture. D. Request clarification. The gestures we make while communicating can represent accompaniment to the word, to emphasize, underline, replace the word, regulate turns in the conversation, show attention or detachment, and various emotions. An effective communication is a communication where all three levels are involved and are consistent with each other. On the other hand, the communication will be ineffective if the three levels mentioned earlier are not consistent with each other. The elements that make communication effective are: empathy is the ability to emotionally tune in with others, the ability to listen, flexibility and effectiveness of feedback regarding the developments in the conversation, spontaneity, and assertiveness. Regarding assertiveness, it is a relational skill that allows us to recognize our emotions, needs, and opinions and to communicate them to others with mutual respect, and to engage in resolving situations and problems positively. This way of communicating arises from the right synergy between social skills, emotions, and rationality. Those who are assertive know how to express emotions, feelings, needs clearly and effectively, without neglecting their point of view, calmly and peacefully, reducing anxiety and aggression, while always receiving the expression of others' positions. The objective of assertive communication is the ability to reduce one's aggressive and passive components. Those with an aggressive communication style impose their rights by violating those of others, while those with a passive communication style tend not to express their feelings and desires, passively enduring abuse and unreasonable requests. Communication in marketing plays various roles. Firstly, it must inform about the product to be advertised, then it must convince and persuade the buyer to make a purchase and leave a memory trace that allows the product to be selected among the many available. Communication, in any case, makes use of various forms that must be carefully chosen based on the target audience, that is, the recipients of the message, and the goals to be achieved. Communication must be accompanied by an appropriate message, aimed at persuading the buyer. The message to be disseminated is fundamental not only in terms of advertising but also with respect to the benefits expected by the consumer. The objectives of marketing communication can be divided according to the different phases of the product purchase process. Initially, the value of the promoted product must be emphasized. Therefore, marketing communication aims to influence the individual's motivation, particularly by acting on perceptual aspects, increasing interest in the product, and consequently the probability of generating a preference in the evaluation phase. Communication, therefore, aims to create a positive image of the product, so that potential buyers mentally associate a personal and value-based aspect with the image. To achieve results, it is essential to identify a target audience to whom to address, setting communication objectives, and identifying a specific product-related message that can be successful in attracting attention, from which the desire to buy would arise, pushing the consumer to buy the product. Obviously, the means chosen to achieve the goal and the selection of different communication channels will be fundamental. Let's first examine what marketing is. Marketing is a process aimed at satisfying needs through the creation of products or services. It is thus a matter of identifying the needs of consumers, so as to provide value and make a profit from it. Marketing is essentially an economic concept aimed at studying and perfecting the relationships between sellers and buyers. The term itself means to market something, in the sense of making a product attractive, catering to the demands of consumers, and helping to sell it. Sometimes, with new unique products that have not yet established a market, marketing can even intervene by making changes in the production or design phases. At other times, it limits itself to intervening in communication or sales strategies. Marketing should therefore keep up with trends and consumer behavior, with brand opinions and production techniques. It is, after all, the department that is at the forefront of communication and is the first to be concerned if there is something wrong with the product, to the point of considering that consumers would not buy it. We could then define marketing as the set of techniques that allows you to achieve your goals, the positioning of a brand, image goals, or a product, sales goals, obtaining the maximum profit. Being a sector of the economy, marketing is mainly concerned with analysis, market analysis, product analysis, potential buyer analysis. Through this data, the department will work on differentiating products from those of the competition, shaping the identity of the company, and offering unique value to customers in a convincing manner. Marketing begins even before a product is born. It is the task that the company undertakes to understand what people need and what it should offer on the market. It serves to determine how to launch, set the price, distribute, and promote the product, service offerings on the market. Then it checks the results and improves the offer over time and, if necessary, decides when to end it. In general, marketing is not about short-term sales actions, but about long-term investment programs. When a good marketing action is carried out, it develops before the company produces any product or enters any market, and continues for a long time after the sale. According to Philip Kotler, marketing is the business function that identifies unfulfilled needs and desires, defines and measures their relevance and potential profitability, determines which markets the organization can best serve, decides on appropriate products, services, and programs to serve the identified markets, and enlists the support of all the organization's components to assist the customer and serve the customer. In short, the task of marketing is to transform people's changing needs into advantageous opportunities. Its purpose is to create value by proposing better solutions, saving the buyer effort and time in searching and transacting. Marketing is not exclusively the responsibility of the department that creates advertisements, selects media, manages direct mail, and answers customer questions. Marketing is a broader process that systematically evaluates what to produce, how to bring it to the attention of the customer, and how to ensure that they continue to buy other products from the company. In addition to marketing strategy and activities, which are not limited to customers, it must also take into account all the subjects who populate the market, investors, media, competition, etc. Among the most important skills of marketing is certainly communication. Communication uses the results of marketing analyses, guiding them to create effective messages. The main concepts and definitions of marketing have been provided by Philip Kotler, recognized as the father of the subject. One of the fundamental aspects of Kotler's studies is the marketing mix model, also known as the 4Ps model. This model is the basis of operational marketing. It is a combination of variables, levers, that must be used to achieve marketing goals. The marketing mix is nothing more than the set of tools used to achieve marketing goals. In the model of the 4Ps, all actions and decisions determining the successful positioning of a company and the launch of its products and/or services are included. In this case, in the classic marketing mix model, 4 main areas are distinguished, called the 4Ps of marketing. These 4 tools concern the product policy, price, distribution, and promotion. Therefore, a correct application of these 4Ps represents the essential prerequisite for managing a successful company. The various marketing activities are organized around 4 macro areas. 1. Product. The product must be designed not only for its realization from a technical or design point of view, but, above all, to satisfy a consumer's need. 2. Price. Depending on its price, the product will target a different group of consumers. 3. Sales point, placement. The place where the product is displayed and sold is the point of contact with the consumer. 4. Promotion. Promotion or communication. Through promotion, the product is communicated to consumers so that they can learn about its features. The difference between marketing and communication is very subtle. Marketing identifies the target and their respective needs, finds a market niche, and establishes the strategy to be used in communication, which is therefore part of the marketing plan. Marketing, therefore, is a vital part of business strategy. It helps to identify the target consumers, find a market for the product, and establish the communication strategy. The communication plan is thus part of the broader marketing plan. Marketing oversees communications, advertising, public relations, and promotions. Communication is tasked with delivering the previously established message by the marketing department. Therefore, marketing plays an important role from the outset, while communication gains importance in later stages. As we have seen, marketing and communication activities are both necessary to understand consumer needs and establish a dialogue, to communicate one's brand identity, to sell products, services, maximizing profit. Marketers take on a more tactical role and, with the advent of web marketing, must increasingly collaborate with communicators. The latter represent the storytellers of a company and, in turn, must understand the importance of statistics, being able to translate them into making strategic decisions. It is therefore desirable for a dialogue between the two departments. Marketing and communication require new cross-functional skills or, even, hybrid figures who can play a multifunctional role. In this way, it is possible to understand each other's roles and support each other. In conclusion, it is important that the two areas follow the entire consumer journey. The customer and their needs must be at the center. If marketing and communication do not work together, this cannot happen.